One of my hobbies is collecting four-leaf clovers, and I have a pretty good stash that I've pressed from all over the world. I have clovers from Bulgaria, Turkey, France, Italy, Spain, and today I'm going to be putting them in resin and preserving them. So here is my little layout. I have the clovers in addition to some pressed flowers, and these are picture frames that I'm going to be pouring the resin into. And hopefully this will preserve them and keep them well. We've poured in the resin and now we're just mixing in the hardener. I'm not that familiar with it. I've only done it a couple times, so it always gives me a bit of anxiety just to do something so new and a bit hazardous. I have a mask to protect my lungs. It's really quite tedious. The first time I did this, I got resin everywhere, so now I'm using these little syringes to just pour very small amounts into the frames. And I only put a little bit in first just so that the clovers have something in front of them before I pour more resin on top of them. I kept these throughout my travel, so I have just different sizes, different shapes. I kept losing them every time. I used to keep them in a little pressed book or even my passport, and they would always fly out everywhere. And so I'm really looking forward to having them all in one place where they will no longer get damaged. And I'm just carefully using tweezers to manage them. As you can see, I also have a huge variety in size. Some are really, really teeny tiny, and I will put those at the frames at the top. Now that most of the clovers are in the frames, we can just pour resin over the top and fill them up as much as we want. Sometimes they float around a little bit, so you have to maneuver them throughout the drying process just to keep them in the center of the frames. But this part is pretty easy, and it's amazing how well that little tape at the bottom keeps all the resin inside the frames. It's called resin tape, and you can get it online. Here are my extras. These are just silicone molds that I've put some natural sand, dried orange peel, roses, and I'm just making earrings from my leftover resin. It's a bit tedious, but it's not that hard. The resin is so good at leveling itself, so you don't have to do a perfect job. It will flatten, it will go everywhere it needs to go. But since it's such a small little container, it is tricky. Here are my finished pieces, the earrings. Aren't they so cool? This resin is really lightweight. It's basically plastic, I guess. But they came out really well, and even though the roses are a bit larger than the molds, I poured the resin over the top so they would still be sealed in. It's so satisfying to take them out of the mold. I included all the footage of this because I think it's so captivating. I put gold leaf in a few of them and some glitter in the others. It came out really well. These are the ones with glitter. And these are dried citrus peel that I wrapped into a spiral before it dried so that it would take this shape. And I think these are lemon or lime. And this is sand. It's dirt or sand that my uncle brought back from Israel. For the frames, you just remove the tape. That's really all there is to it, and it's so satisfying when they come out cleanly. This one is a rose. It's the only rose I did. I wanted to try it out. Some of the resin did bleed through a little bit because I didn't press the tape down perfectly, but even still, it comes off pretty darn cleanly. It's a really easy process. Here are all my clovers, and as you can see, I have all different shapes and sizes. Some of them even have 5 leaves. I don't know if you can see in any of the footage, but they're at least 4 leaf. And I've just placed them on my wall with a little sticky tack, and I hope to add to my collection. And here are all the earrings once I have the earring hoops placed in them. I added a few crystals and gemstones to them, but mostly they're exactly as the molding made them. So clean, simple. I'm really happy with them. Let me know which one are your favorites.